Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, the Arkansas RC Newbie, and on today's episode we have got an all new servo. That's right, new servo day guys. This is the HV Dover RC 35 kg $32 budget servo. We're going to be testing this out today, seeing how fast it is, seeing what the torque specs are on it, be doing a little initial impressions on it, and I'm not going to be installing it on my carbon fiber AMK crawler chassis, my build for the new season coming up. What we're going to be doing is actually installing it on some HYBDX portal axles. This is heck of a kit. These things, the company sent them to me, have not installed them yet. They're still brand new, but they're $109, all right? So we put the fill links and everything else in the description below. So if that is something that you're interested in, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the Dover RC 35 kg servo. They do recommend that this be installed, that's an extra part I just threw in there. They do recommend that this be installed with a 1/10, a 1/8, or a 1/12 scale rig. This might be your new budget crawling servo. So it comes with a 25 tooth servo horn. Check that out, that thing is nice alone right there. Heck, that's what, like a $10 piece? This thing was $32. Plus tax. So make sure you guys check out the fill links in the description below. All metal housing, full case, and metal gears. It's a little bulkier, I believe, than like the Flash Hobby one that I actually have installed right now. It's just a little bit longer. Now we're going to be running it. I'm going to plug it into my my receiver on my crawler, and I actually have a BEC that is set at 8.1. So we'll see what kind of torque this thing's got. But yeah, man, I mean, $32. It might be, this is the servo I bring with me every time I go out to the crawling course, just in case I need it as a backup. But who knows, if it's a really good episode today, and this thing really tears it up, we might be installing it for the new season. It also does come with a bunch of extra plastic servo horns and different mounts, and it looks like actually some rubber grommets and things like that. Alright, now let's take a look at these axles. Again, this was a company HYBDX sent me these RC portal axles, and these things are super nice. I'm going to show you guys a set here. You can buy these for $109. Portal axles, that was actually the first upgrade that I've ever upgraded on one of the, I think it was my RG crawler. First upgrade was portal axles, and I'm in love with these things. I just love the extra clearance. Yeah, it does make it a little bit difficult sometimes to install proper links and just get the perfect ride height, but man, these things, especially the design of the pumpkin back here, everything is super smooth and sleek, very good quality. I'm looking forward to installing these on a new build. Now, I have not ran these, and the reason why is because I want to get a chassis that is fully compatible. Look how pretty that is. I want to get a chassis that's fully compatible with a servo on axle design. And these here, this is exactly what this is, a servo on axle design. You can install these without the servo on axle mount, but I've never had a servo on axle mount before, a mounted front axle. And again, this is a portal one as well. So it's kind of be just a little tester here and see what kind of turning radius that we can get, and if this thing is torquey. These here are a little strange on the stoppers. You can kind of adjust those little stoppers there. I haven't seen a design like that yet. They are pretty heavy, but again, it's got that sleek pumpkin design that I'm just a big fan of. I can't wait to actually crawl with these things. I think they've got like a 8-degree camber or something like that, or they're towed in or towed out. Not too sure on all those numbers. That was another question I was getting on the channel, and that just, I guess that mounts just like that. So you can still put your links there, and then you can put your servo on axle right there. So that's what we're going to be doing. But that was another question I was getting a lot in the channel, was the reason I'm not, and I haven't installed them on my AMK carbon fiber crawler chassis, is because the servo plate is actually part of the chassis. It's kind of the spacer in between there, if you guys can see that. Somebody was asking me here recently, man, I would say you'd probably be able to run these axles on something like this, but I would worry about the clearance issue as far as the rails and the top of the axle go. You might have to set this guy up a lot higher than you really would want to as far as ground clearance is concerned, or your center of gravity. So I'm not sure if you can install on a chassis like this one. We're not going to be installing it today. We're just going to be plugging it into the receivers we were talking about earlier. But let's go ahead and let's get this guy suited up. Let's go ahead and put this servo on axle mount on here, or adapter, whatever you want to call it. We'll plug this guy in here, and then we're going to go ahead and hook up all the links and everything else needed with the servo, and we're going to see how fast this thing is, how quick it is, and we'll play with the torque a little bit. I've even got some wheels we're going to set on there. Alright, so make sure you guys let me know in the comments, for those of you guys that have some experience with the servo on axle, I guess as opposed to the servo on chassis. I don't know if that's what you call it. Do you guys have a preference? I hear you get more steering angle and lower center of gravity since the servo is mounted on the axle. But then I also hear that you have more different options as far as like servo horns and different mounting options. You can get a little bit more creative also with mounting it on your chassis. So the only ones I've ever had are just the servo on chassis, except for the let's see, I've got that Red Cat. I've got the Red Cat crawler. That's all stock, and I believe that's a servo on axle. So that one's kind of hard to judge because the servo's not all that great. But just let me know what you guys think in the comments if you guys have a preference. Okay, we've got one more here. Fit up pretty good. Another thing I'm pretty proud of is my Legendary tools. Awesome toolkit. I'll be putting affiliate links in the description below for this toolkit as well. You know, the new season coming up, I'm excited about having a nice toolkit to carry with me. Now, this isn't going to be mounted for good. Normally, I would be using the little rubber grommets that came with this. I don't know if that really makes a big difference, but I'm just going to mount these up real quick for this video. And then if you guys also have any opinions on a new crawler chassis, I'm kind of in the market for one. You know, I do have, I believe it's an HYBDX. Either that or an Endura carbon fiber chassis. Another one that I started doing a build on, and it was just so hard to get the ride height from the skid plate and also the links as far as the overall wheelbase. It was very difficult. I'm kind of battling with that now, so I don't want to put that video out there. You know, we all know here at Arkansas RC Newbie there's been enough fails. But if you guys have any opinions on a budget crawler chassis, let me know. I would love to get my hands on something so I can start building one and maybe enter some comps this season with it. But we'll get there. We'll see when we get there. But all right, let me go ahead and I'm going to plug this into my receiver, and then we're going to power this guy on so we can get a good center line, and then we'll start messing with it. We'll put some wheels on it too. All right, guys, so we got the Dover servo installed now. Okay, we've got the tires on there, and just look at the clearance. That's an amazing amount of ground clearance. Let me measure this and just show you guys how many. Let's just see how many millimeters high this is. So your ground clearance is right at 60 millimeters. 60 millimeters of ground clearance from the pumpkin all the way down to the table here. That is crazy. That just makes me want to build another crawler. Look how good that looks. And it's so, I mean, just haul one piece. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not too sure on the positive and negatives with the servo on axle, but that is just such a good looking setup. But let's turn these wheels a little bit. Oh, wow. I think the more tension on it actually quieted it down a little bit. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a bunch of pressure. See if you guys can see these wheels smash down. I'm putting a lot of pressure down. Wow, that. I'm running this on a 3S. I'm going to push down here. I mean, that's a lot of pressure down, guys. And that sucker's still wanting to turn. Wow, that's impressive. 8.1 volts going to it, so we're probably rocking about 35, 36 kg. It could be faster. You know, it could be a little bit faster to get you out of a pickle. Well, I say that, but the response is the response time's okay. It's not too bad. You know, whenever you get in those situations where you kind of have to wiggle your front end over a little bit. So that's not terrible. I was thinking that might be a negative, but we've got pretty good clearance with these axles now. I mean, I don't know if that's better than the one I've got now, but this right here might cause me to break some stuff. I mean, smashing down on it, it's struggling, but listen to that. It's still churning. It's not even like hurting to churn. It's turning in whatever direction I want it to go. That is pretty impressive. But let me say this. I'm going to say this right away. Going back and forth, doing a little wiggle job and putting pressure on it, that guy is getting warm. It's not hot, it's just barely warm to the touch. But, I mean, guys, for $32, that's just a super good backup to bring to the course. It looks good. It's a little loud, but I mean, I wouldn't think that's any louder than other servos, at least the budget ones I've tried. For 32 bucks, you guys let me know, is that a good buy or not? $32. We'll put some affiliate links to the Dover RC 35 kg servo, the HYBDX portal axles that are in here. I'm kind of glad I did the install just alone on this axle, so I can kind of push it around and see, you know, just how strong it is. But just a quick little video for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on so you guys can maybe one of these days here pretty soon, if you give me some ideas on a new crawler chassis to get. I think I've had just about all the parts to put a chassis, a whole new build together. I mean, I don't have links and I don't have a motor, but I might be ordering something. I mean, this right here is kind of inspiring me to do so. But all right, guys, we will see you on the next episode. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm happy with it. I really am.